There is no doubt that Texas is massive. This American state alone is larger than any European country, Japan, and many others. If Texas was a country, it would be the 40th largest in size, 50th most populated, and 10th largest GDP out of over 193 countries in the world. Texas, the second largest state in the US, is not just known for its size, Tex-Mex cuisine, the world's best barbecue, and cowboy culture anymore. It's rapidly emerging as the most geopolitically powerful state in the nation. But why? In this video, we'll look at why Texas is becoming the most geopolitically powerful state in the United States. Watch until the end to find the big and bold reasons behind the Lone Star State's rise in influence. Let's jump in. Did you know that Texas was originally a part of Mexico and did not join the US until 1845? This was shortly after it declared its independence from Mexico on March 2, 1836. The same year, Texas sought to be a part of the United States and voted for annexation. But it took 10 years for the US to finally agree due to political divisions over slavery. Texas at the time still permitted it. Texas eventually became the 26th state in the US under a treaty. Starting with its stunning and strategic geography, the Lone Star State, as it's popularly known because of its flag design, boasts diverse landscapes, from the deserts and canyons in the west, like the famous Big Bend National Park, to the piney woods in the east and the Gulf Coast beaches in the southeast. It also has rolling plains, rugged mountains, and fertile plains. No wonder travelers spent $83 billion on travel in Texas in 2019 alone. There is much to see, from the Alamo to the Sixth Floor Museum in Dallas, Big Bend National Park, the San Antonio Riverwalk, the Guadalupe Mountains National Park, and a Six Flags Over Texas theme park. The Alamo, located in San Antonio, is where Texas defenders fell to Mexican General Santa Anna, and the phrase "Remember the Alamo" originated. It's considered the cradle of Texas liberty and its most famous historic site. Six Flags Over Texas is named after the 6 countries that have ruled over Texas: Spain, France, Mexico, the Republic of Texas, the United States, and the Confederate States of America. There is history behind every place in Texas, and tourists love it. Tourism in Texas is a $69 billion industry, contributing significantly to the state's economic power. Speaking of economic power, Texas's GDP as of 2022 was a whopping $2.355 trillion, making it the second largest economy in the U.S., right after California. Texas shares a significant portion of the U.S.-Mexico border, making it a focal point in discussions about immigration, trade, and security. It's home to the fastest road in the United States, located in a rural stretch between Austin and San Antonio. The state also has major ports along the Gulf of Mexico, which promotes international trade and commerce. Militarily, Texas is also a significant geopolitical power in the U.S. There's a huge chunk of the nation's military-industrial sector in Texas, and a large amount of military infrastructure. Its influence in these areas resonates not just nationally, but globally. Texas is a hub for industries like energy, technology, healthcare, and aerospace, attracting businesses and talent from all over the world. Innovation and education are critical drivers of Texas's geopolitical power. The Lone Star State boasts some of the world's finest universities and research institutions. From the University of Texas to Rice University, these centers of learning are hubs for innovation and technology. Moreover, the state encourages entrepreneurship. Cities like Houston, Dallas, and Austin are teeming with innovation, fostering technological advancements and creating a talent pool that attracts global attention. Texas is home to Dell and Compaq computers, and Central Texas is often called the Silicon Valley of the South. Austin in particular has become a tech hotspot, earning the nickname Silicon Hills since the mid-1990s. This focus on innovation propels Texas forward and strengthens its influence on the global stage. Plus, one of Texas' pride, the NASA Johnson Space Center in Houston, plays a significant role in global space exploration. The Texas Medical Center, also in Houston, is one of the world's largest and most advanced medical centers. Everything really is bigger in Texas. Even the Capitol in Austin, which opened on May 16, 1888, features a dome 7 feet higher than that of America's capital in Washington, D.C., making it the largest state capital in the U.S. In trade, the beef cattle industry deserves an entire segment. The Texas cattle population is estimated to be nearly 13 million. ranking it first in the United States in total cattle numbers. The agriculture industry has 248,800 farms and ranches totaling 130.2 million acres. The beef cattle industry is by far the largest sector, earning it the title of the beef capital of the world. King Ranch in Kingsville, which sprawls over 825,000 acres and is home to over 200 quarter horses and 35,000 heads of cattle. It is larger than Rhode Island State, the smallest state in the U.S. The ranch reaches 6 different countries and was designated National Historic Landmark in 1961. Cows are not all Texas is known for. The largest known bat colony in North America is Bracken Cave, Texas. It has over 20 million bats, which is more than the entire human population of Mexico City. The largest known urban bat colony is also in Texas over Lady Bird Lake in Austin. Now let's talk energy. Texas has long been associated with oil and is still a significant player in the global energy market. The state leads the U.S. in oil production and is also a leader in renewable energy. Texas produces more wind power than any other state, the reason it's also called the Windmill City. It is also a significant producer of solar energy. This energy diversity fuels the state and positions it as a critical player in the transition to clean energy, projected to reach $1.977 billion by 2030. Texas uses its own power grid, separate from the rest of the United States. The Texas power grid was established during World War II to make sure all of the Texas factories producing critical war supplies were self-sustainable. The energy sector doesn't just contribute to Texas's economy, it amplifies its geopolitical influence. Energy independence means the state is less reliant on external sources, giving it greater flexibility and control in international negotiations. Texas is a central resource center for the United States. It's home to America's National Helium Reserve in Amarillo, which contains about 90% of the world's recoverable helium supply. Amarillo is considered the helium capital of the world. Before Amarillo, scientists believed helium didn't exist at all. Beyond its economic and geographical significance, Texas is a melting pot of cultures. With a rich history shaped by Native American, Mexican, and European influences, Texas embodies diversity. Texans are generally known for their southern hospitality. The word Texas actually comes from the Hassani Indian word Tejas, meaning friends or allies. This gives the state an edge in cultural diplomacy. Texan music, food, and arts have global appeal. Think about the worldwide love for Tex-Mex cuisine, which combines ingredients typically found in Texan food with the authentic taste of Mexican cuisine, or the global influence of country music, which has deep roots in Texas. Texan cultural exports act as soft power, fostering international relationships and understanding. Texas is not just a state, it's a powerhouse shaping the future. Its economic might, energy dominance, strategic location, cultural diplomacy, and focus on innovation make it the most geopolitically powerful state in the U.S., and it's only climbing up to more. There you have it, folks. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more exciting content. See you in our next video. This American state is way more powerful than most people realize. Stretching from the Mexican border along the Pacific Ocean for 900 miles, this western U.S. state is home to around 40 million people. Despite making only 4.3% of the total U.S. land area, it's the most populous state and contributes 14.3% of the total GDP. All of this points to just one conclusion: California is one of the strongest states. But how did it rise to such power? Just how much sway does it have in stuff like elections and major legislative decisions? And what is next for California? This is the story of a state that's strong enough to be compared to some of the best developed countries in the world. This is the story of California. In any discussion about California, we first need to talk about its history. Before the first European explorers arrived, California was a great place with around 300,000 people from various cultures. Although the first Europeans came to California in the 1500s, it wasn't until Junipero Serra that people would realize its true value. In 1769, Junipero established the first mission in San Diego. There he taught the local people about Christianity and some modern farming techniques. The next big thing to happen was Mexico becoming free of Spanish rule in 1821. This caused a lot of changes in California. During this period, some of the northwest part of California became a part of the United States, while the rest belonged to Mexico. But after the war between US and Mexico, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed, and California formally became a part of the United States. And of course, how can we talk about California history without mentioning the gold rush? The story goes that in 1848, a carpenter named James Marshall saw shiny objects in the river while he was working for a man named John Sutter. Upon further examination, it was discovered that the shiny bits were gold. And despite Sutter trying to keep it a secret, the news spread rapidly. As a result, people flooded into the state trying to make a fortune. And this rush of people would lead to a period of high growth in California, as these people needed housing, tools, and food, among other things. And that sets the stage perfectly for how California turned into one of the most modern states. There were lots of fields where California saw great progress, but here I'll only be mentioning some of the more major ones. Obviously, the first thing that we have to consider here is Silicon Valley. It has truly been one of the driving forces behind the digital revolution, and it has a reputation of being the hub where the coolest new ideas and technologies are made. To give you an idea of just how big Silicon Valley is, Apple's first headquarters were built there. So, Silicon Valley and California are both at the forefront in terms of cutting-edge technology. But California didn't just change in terms of technology, it also had a big impact on how we think. Just look at the fact that Hollywood is situated in California. Today, movies like Oppenheimer and Barbie are seen worldwide. They affect how we think, how we see the world around us. These movies also become a crucial part of internet culture and are discussed by people online. It's one of the biggest hubs of entertainment in the world. But okay, you get it. California has a lot of good things. I mean, I haven't even talked about the strong trade sector in California. But what really makes California different from all the other states? Just why is it so strong? If I had to answer that question in just one word, then that word would be GDP. Well, okay, that's 3 words, but you get the point. GDP, or Gross Domestic Product, is essentially the total value of goods and services being produced in a particular region. It's a very good indicator of how developed and economically strong a region is. California's GDP is a staggering $3.6 trillion. To give you an idea of just how huge that number is, if California was a country, then it would be the 5th largest GDP in the world. California's GDP is better than the United Kingdom and India, 2 countries that are considered as superpowers. And the secret to this high GDP is pretty obvious. I've already mentioned the huge market that is Silicon Valley. With such a high concentration of wealthy people and good ideas, California can make some of the best tech in the world and then sell it for huge revenue. And there's also Hollywood, which is another collection of incredibly wealthy people. Both of these combined help a lot in bringing up the Californian GDP. But that's not all. If we talk about agriculture, then California comes out at the top of all the US states. Its unique geography and dry Mediterranean climate create great growing opportunities over the year. The state's rich soil also supports over 400 commodities, from fruits like apricots and kiwi to nuts such as almonds, pistachios, and walnuts. 1/3 of all vegetables and nearly 3/4 of all fruits and nuts that are produced in America come from California. And with all that wealth comes the strength to support it all. The military presence in California is just huge. It has the largest combination of operational bases, training space, and support activities. There is a huge number of active duty service members. The state also has some major military installations like the Marine Corps Air Station and the Marine Corps Base. Just to bring numbers into the debate, as of 2000, California had over 2.5 million veterans, out of which 500,000 served in World War II and 750,000 served in the Vietnam War. It has 117,000 active duty service members and over 50,000 reserve members combined in the Army, Marines, and Air Force. So the point is, California has a lot of military power. And this is where we come to the twist. Most US states hate California. I mean, from the outside, this just does not make sense. But multiple polls over the years have shown that California is consistently hated by other states. Though if you look deep enough, you start seeing reasons why it is so hated. Firstly, the cost. I've just talked so much about how much wealth is concentrated in California. What that means is that the price of everything is high, because most people there can afford it. But if someone wants to move to California, well, they just can't. Most of the population just can't afford living in California and still have a lot of financial security. With the high rent, high price of groceries, high price of everything, you just can't save a lot of money. A lot of people also hate California for the fallout of this high pricing. A lot of people end up moving from California to other states nearby. This makes it tough on the other states as they have to deal with immigration. And since these Californians are also wealthier, they can buy homes at higher prices. This causes the cost of housing to increase as the sellers try and mark up the price to maximize their profit. And all of that together creates a really bad situation for the natives of the state as they stop being able to afford their own home. And the last major point against California is that a lot of people just don't like Californians. They have a reputation for being smug and self-centered. Although a lot of it is just stereotypes, it does cause people to like Californian people less. And I mean, who wouldn't be jealous of the rich kid? All of it together leads to Californians being frowned upon by many of the other states. And that's that. California's development and power in the world is because of its huge economy, big tech giants, agriculture, and other involved factors. These factors have made California so geopolitically strong in the world that it's hard to call it a state now. The luxurious lifestyle and growing technology have made California a torchbearer to guide the world in creating modern lifestyle and great technology for future generations. But that comes at the cost of not having the best relations with a lot of the other states. Even so, as time goes on, California will just continue to grow. And maybe one day, it'll finally fix its prices and become the best state in America. With that, I leave you. If you enjoyed this video, then I hope you'll consider leaving a like and subscribing for more content like this. And as always, thanks for watching.